Well, here I am down here at Peak Bridge, and it ain't so bad. It ain't so bad. Looks like it's going to rain again, but oh well, what the hell? It's always going to do something. You know, I seen a video the other day, and fellas talk about older riders. I'll be 74, what, next month? Or what, in July. And I think that qualifies me to be an older rider. And I always hear everybody say the same thing when they talk about older riders. They talk about your reactions getting slower and your and all this other shit, you know, about everything slowing down and your body won't let you do things that you used to do and all this kind of stuff. Well, and that's very true. But you know, the one thing about it is, I'm gonna say this, it's gonna probably upset some people, see Peak Bridge, but how you manage your life, how you manage your body, how you do things, it's all on you. I'm not trying to be sarcastic. I'm just trying to get you to face some facts, okay? And here's the cold, hard facts. When I first retired, I retired in 2017. I had a knee on my right leg, which I'd injured many years ago, and they said it had arthritis on it, and it would swell up. It'd get so damn big I couldn't get my pants on. Okay. Well, whenever I retired, went to the doctor and said, "You're probably going to have to get knee surgery." I went, "Oh." Well, I didn't go. I didn't get no damn knee surgery. But then I got to thinking about it. I said, "Why is this leg swollen up like that? What's going on?" Well, it's something called inflammation. Okay. Inflammation is when your body is actually, you have a little pain there and your body swells everything up to immobilize it so that it doesn't hurt. Everybody says, "Well, that's a good thing." No, that's a bad thing. And I'll tell you the reason why. Because if you don't use it, that just gets worse. So I did some research, and I'm not trying to be a doctor. I'm not trying to be a witch doctor. I'm not trying to be nothing. I'm just telling you what worked for me. And you take it for what it's worth and leave it for what it's worth and do your own thing your own way. So I got doing some research, and there's stuff called turmeric. Well, I thought, you know what? I ain't going to get my knee cut on because, number one, the insurance that we had, Medicare, ain't worth the shit. You know, even 20% of a $60,000 operation is quite a bit for me because I just live on Social Security. I ain't bitching. You know, I could have made more investments in my younger life, but I didn't do it. But anyway, so I started taking this turmeric. Well, the swelling went down. And you know, the thing of it is, it'll just keep coming back. So then I got noticing something. Now, why does that hurt? And so when I walked on concrete for the 20 years I was there, or 19 years, what it was, I found out that I walked differently on hard surfaces. So I thought, well, let's just check that out. Let's see what's going on. So I started walking and did trails, you know, rocky trails, the things that were off camber and made me twist my ankles and change the way I walked. And I did that, and I still took the turmeric and all that stuff. And here I am. I retired when I was 65, and now I'm 74. It's almost, well, 9 years. And you know, after I started walking differently and I looked at the shoes I was wearing and all this kind of shit, you know, my knee has not swollen up in almost 10 years. And it's just because of the way I walked, the way the shoes that I wore, and what I made it do. And like I said, and here's the thing, I started off doing real mild exercises on it. You know, half squats. You sit at the kid table there and and hold on to each other and do a half squat. Okay, pull yourself out, help your arm, and just do that. And then every day you just get a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. And so, and that's what I'm saying. Your rehabilitation is entirely up to you. Do some research and find out what works for you. Look at your shoes. Look at your habits. Okay, and you know, they say aging is when you get older. Well, no shit. But you know what? Just because you're aging don't mean you got to go downhill. And I fell in this trap just like everybody else. You go out there and you work your 8-hour job or 10-hour job or 12-hour job there, you know, whatever the case may be, and then you get home and you plop down in front of the chair, in front of the TV there, eat your TV dinner, say, man, I'm tired, and fall asleep an hour later. Well, we all do it. We all done it. And then after a while, everything is accumulatively, okay? Everything is an accumulation. It's just like that one video I put out there about being institutionalized. Once the out of the norm becomes normal, then you're institutionalized. And it's the same way with your own personal body. Once you get used to not doing nothing, once you get used to saying, well, I'll do that tomorrow, or you know, I like to go camping or hiking or something. I'm just too tired. Bullshit. Do it. Just do it. Just do it. But do it in moderation. You don't got to go out there and do no 10-mile hike if you work, all week long. Get out there on the weekend there and enjoy yourself. Enjoy your family, enjoy your kids. You go out, take the dog for a walk, and don't give up. Watch, and as far as watch eat, I tell you what, this, as far as I'm concerned, all this health food stuff it's a gimmick, okay? Because I eat pure OD deep fried stuff. I eat hamburgers, I eat bacon, I eat eggs, and all this kind of stuff, And do I worry about my cholesterol? Nah. Don't worry about it a bit. You know why? Because people would have survived on that for many, many years. So anyway, and so I did that, and I started getting myself back in a little bit better shape. I still do things, and I still get aches and pains. But whenever I get an ache and pain, that's what I work on most. Like I said, I do isometrics, or I'll do something, and people say, well, you'll hurt that and make it worse. No, it hurts because you're not used to using that particular part of your body, okay? And that's why it hurts. It's been asleep and you're waking it up. That's why I look at it. So I try to stay pretty active. Do I get out here and run a marathon? Nah, I don't give a shit about that. But I just try to stay active. So, and it's just like aging on a motorcycle. They said, well, your reaction time slows down. And that's the reason why I say get you a bike and you have fun on. If you can afford 2 bikes, then that's even better. Get you one that you can do your long distance riding on. That's why I have the KLE. I love it. But I also have the dual sports because I can get out there and I can practice on my skills. I can sharpen my skills back up. Right now, at almost 74, I am a better rider than what I was at 64. I guarantee you. Okay? Because I've been doing nothing but riding. I've tried to sharpen my skills. I've learned how to shift my weight. I've learned how to use the bike. I've learned how to use my weight with the bike, okay? And all this was after I retired. Because when you do things wrong and it becomes the norm, then you're institutionalized. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. Don't be institutionalized. If you got an ache and pain, figure out why it hurts, okay? And then work on it. And make that pain work for you, okay? Make it work for you. Now, I'm not saying, people that have some real, well, and it's like the knees. I knew another guy, he just retired a few years ago and had both of his knees replaced. He walks around, and he's younger than me by probably 10 years. And he walks around like he's 20 years older than me. Oh, he says, hey, if I do too much, my knees hurt. I'm going, why did you get them replaced? Oh, because my knees hurt. I said, no, you got them replaced because you're the same place I was. You walked on concrete for 20 years and you let yourself get institutionalized and you didn't realize you was actually hurting your body by going home there and sitting in front of the TV there and watching some crappy show and then falling asleep and sleeping. And that's another thing. People, they have a tendency to sleep too damn much. I work best on about 6 hours sleep, and I'm going, and people say, well, you're a lucky man. No, that's just what I work best on. I can sleep 8 hours, I can sleep 10 hours, but I don't like it. I feel like I wasted the entire day. I like about 6 to 7, something like that, and 8 at the most. That's what I work on. That's what I worked on for years. And I thought, you know what? And that's what I'm saying. Get out. I don't take any meds. Absolutely none. Everybody says, well, ain't you worried about having this or having that? No, I don't worry about it. You know why? If I get a pain that I don't recognize, or I get a pain that I don't know about, then I'll go see a doctor. But most of the time, the pains that I get and the things, it's something I've experienced before. And if you stop and think about it, then you'll know what it is. I'm not saying I'm a doctor. I'm not trying to be a doctor. And I'm not trying to practice medicine. I'm just saying, know your body. And see, that's the key. Know your body, know your bike, know your limits, know your skills. Okay? And at 74 or 60 or even 55, I've seen these guys, they talk about not being able to do this stuff. Well, that's all on you. And it's like, and I will agree with one guy. One guy put out a video and he said, now I was never this way. So I know what he's talking about, but I've never experienced it. He says, riding with groups, he said, because you always got somebody, you got to keep up with them, or you got to prove something. I never did ride with groups. I've always been my own person, my own way. Can I ride with groups? Sure. And if I get out there and somebody wants to be a clown, I'll wave at him and I'll drop back 10 mile an hour and just let him go. It's like, I'll pick you up down there in the middle of the road, okay? But I ain't going to join you. So that's what I'm saying. Use your head, use common sense. Ride your ride, do your thing your way, learn your bike, okay? Learn your body and take care of yourself. I might fall over tomorrow. I might fall over in the next 5 minutes with a heart attack and die. I don't know. I'm not God. I don't know nothing about that. But I think He's kind of blessed me with enough good common sense to think, hey, stupid, take care of yourself. Well, I'll do the best I can. But I don't know. That's just my philosophy, and that's what I live by. Like I said, I don't have any trouble with my knees, and I still, like I said, I do squats and all this kind of stuff. Keep my knees. Keep your knees going, okay? Because if them knees hurt and you walk around there and they're hurting and then your back hurts and then you get headaches and all this kind of shit. But like I said, look at your footwear, look at the way you're walking. Get out of the door, change your stride. If you got a pain there and you're walking, you got a pain there, change your stride, work on it, be conscious of it. Find something that helps you, okay? Be aware of what's going on. And that's all you got to do in life in general. Just be aware of what's going on. And don't take nobody's word for nothing. Like I said, even these so-called professionals can be wrong. The chances of them being wrong are slim to none, but I have known some, and you have too. You've known some of them that were nothing but pill pushers. My wife was a good example of that. Her doctor had her on like all kind of crazy shit, and she got nuttier than squirrel shit, okay? And finally, I just told her, I said, you ain't taking that stuff anymore. And do I know more than a doctor? No, but I lived with this woman for 30 plus years, okay? I know how she is. I know how she acts. I know how she thinks. I know how she moves. And when she got that way where she couldn't do this stuff, and it was just because they changed her meds, I'm going, there's something wrong with this medicine. So, well, come to find out, I was right, and they were just prescribing shit. Well, we just want to do this as a trial. No, she ain't a guinea pig. But anyway, that's what I'm saying. Be aware. And when everybody says, well, you're getting old and you can't do the things that you used to do, bullshit, okay? You're getting older. Can you do the things you used to do? Yes, you can, but most of the time you look at it and say, well, why would I want to do it? Okay, because I got nothing to prove. I'm just here to have a good time. I'm just here to enjoy myself. And that's the big difference. You got nothing to prove to nobody. You just do your own thing your own way. And that's it. That's my philosophy. I'm not trying to get you to think my philosophy, not trying to change your opinion. I'm just trying to get you to think on your own. Be your own person, use your own mind. And that, my friends, is the secret to riding a motorcycle at 74 years old and having a good time. Hey, enough of that. Ride safe, ride free.